Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of ScribCon, and welcome to Breaking Up Isn't So Hard to Do. Rose from the Scribbles sales team will be joined today by Chris, Eddie, and Bonnie from Tulsa Public Schools to understand how their district broke up with outdated processes and moved into online solutions. With that, Rose, I will hand it over to you.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Logan. So, like he said, today we're going to be talking about a tough situation I'm sure we've all been in, which is navigating a breakup. So, we're going to have Chris, Eddie, and Bonnie with us here today, and they're going to share how they ended Tulsa's old processes and then a little bit about their journey along the way. So, thank you so much, you three. Can you hear and see me okay?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm going to jump in then, and I'm going to ask the first question, which is for one of you to just tell us a little bit about your old process prior to Scribbles and how that looked over at Tulsa.
Okay, thanks. Good morning, everyone. So Tulsa, just a little bit of background. Tulsa is a very large urban district. We have records dating back to the 1920s, and our school district has enrollment at one time was up to 70 to 80,000 students. And so within that, we had cumulative records as well as transcripts. Our records were scattered throughout the district. Here in the central office, we maintained our records in 4 different platforms. We still had the old microfiche. We had an application extender where our records were indexed. Then we had mainframe archives from when we switched from our old student information system to PowerSchool. And so now we have records in PowerSchool as well. All of our requests came to us. They were either mailed to us, faxed to us. Everything was hard copy. So, a lot of the records were kept electronically, but all of the incoming requests, they were all hard copies, and we did a lot of mail outs, emails, faxes. Of course, if you guys have been around for a while, fax machines go down frequently. So that was always a struggle. We also had to have payment before we could even send the request. So that was a delay in getting those records out. And then we're required to document who made the request. And we actually started keeping that information in an Excel spreadsheet. And it was shared on a network drive between about 15 to 20 different people. And before that, we used hard copies. We just had file cabinets and file cabinets full of hard copies of records requests. There wasn't any accountability. And our fees too were very nominal. They did not cover the cost of what we had to do. So, and I think Eddie's going to speak to a little bit more about why these processes were so challenging.
Hi, I'm Eddie. And so one thing that I do want to echo from Chris is that the nominal fees, didn't cover the expense oftentimes, but even more in depth than that, we had no standard for cost. And so, someone would come in wanting a transcript and they may be asked to pay more or less than somebody who had previously, or may not have paid at all. And so that definitely exacerbated the issue that Chris just pointed out. We had time-sensitive needs that weren't being met. That's not just from parents and from students, but also from the state. And so this allowed us to be able to, reconcile some legal issues with records because we have specific time periods where we have to get records to people, and the records that come in, we have to be able to file those and know exactly where they're at and have them for students and for families. There was an inconsistent organizational structure. We had not only, just like Chris said, with multiple different types of records, we also had them housed in random places throughout our department. And so this allowed us to be able to centralize all of those records and organize them better. Sometimes records, like I said, were in 2 different systems. So that created double work. Someone didn't know that we already had a record in, and so they would be working a record that we had already completed. And simply because of geography, we were doing way more work than we needed to. Sometimes payments would come through the postal service. Parents would have to go to an ATM in order to get, or they'd have to get a money order, or they would have to, find a way to pay for the records that they had. And good news with Scribbles, that is all, taken care of through online payment. So that is no longer a huge issue for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was great. It kind of links into my next question here, which is what were you looking for? And you can pick one thing, but what were you looking for when considering a new vendor? Was there one thing a challenge that stuck out a little bit more, or kind of what was your biggest thing that you were looking for?
So there were actually several things that we were looking for. We definitely needed something that was easy to use. We wanted flexible payment options. We wanted to eliminate faxes. We wanted to eliminate postal service. There were times we would get $2 in change mailed to us through the post office. So, and we did have a consistent method. So we needed somebody or some way to hold and maintain our digital records. We've had over, like I said, we're pretty big, about 1.2 million records and archives. We had third-party background checks for IDs. Often people had to mail their IDs for us. So the ability to be able to have all of that checked ahead of time for us was very, very important. And we also had student and teacher records. So we had an extensive teacher record system for professional development that we were looking for a solution for. And we wanted a consistent revenue source that would cover the cost of all of the things associated with records and distribution. We wanted to reduce wait times for our customers. And we wanted the ability to consolidate all of those records into one platform. And again, quicker turnaround. And can we modify those records if we needed to go back in and post a graduation date? And we also wanted a vendor that was supportive and was very quickly to respond when we needed assistance. And somebody that was really strong to help us with training our staff. So that's pretty much everything else. Eddie, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
I don't think so. I think it's really important just to reemphasize, like, a centralized location is super huge. It covers a matter of sins, and so it all stems from organization. So we definitely appreciate that from this company.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for answering that. I guess, Chris, you said something that leads into my next question, sort of. So you mentioned training and support, and I'm curious, what did implementation, once you said we would love to partner with Scribbles, what did the implementation process look like for you guys for your sites?
Bonnie's going to address that.
I'm Bonnie, and I have Lorinda Basham in here with me. And the implementation process was incredibly easy and quick for us. We had people coming in and training, and we had being able to move our documents over pretty quick. We can print out what we need to, or we can put it in a PDF form. And Scribs just took it over from at that point and attached it for us. So it was extremely easy for us to move from our old way of habits and moving into our new habits. It's just working with Scrib and attaching all of our documents and teaching new people how to actually work with it.
Yeah, and another question too, stemming off of that, what did you think about the process of developing the site with our team, that side of implementation? How did that look for you with our staff and project managers?
It was incredible. Anything we came up with, you guys were like, yes, we can do that, and let's work on it right this second. And we had multiple meetings where we sat together and said, we want this and we want that. And you guys actually did exactly what we wanted and verified with us. Is this what you like? If we try this, will this be better? Will this work better for you? And it was extremely helpful and wonderful working with you guys when we were getting this started.
Okay, awesome. Well, I guess on the other side, so we were there, Scribbles, to help implement and support you guys, but how did you help to break old habits or support your staff, students, and families after making the switch? What did that look like?
At first, it was a little difficult because people aren't used to you saying you need to go through our scrib orders or emailing or mailing back checks and saying, we can't take it this way no longer. But what we did at the start was we emailed all of our districts surrounding us, letting us know exactly what we went to and how they can log on and get the information from our Scribbles. Parents came in and we had them log on and actually do the process and help us out to kind of train our staff so that if there was a problem, our staff could walk a parent through it at that time while they were on the phone, because they do get a little confused every once in a while when you say to go online and do this.
No, absolutely. No, that's awesome. That makes a lot of sense. I guess my last question here is, if you could go back and looking back, is there anything you would have done differently? Whether it's from the start of looking at vendors or the process throughout, what would you change if you could?
I think we would actually get our documents into you guys quicker, because we did have a year where we didn't send the documents to you. And now we have realized how wonderful it is to keep our documents with you guys. And it's a click, click, let's go, here it is, and not have to go back and look for everything and then go and attach everything. So it was great that we can actually leave all of our documents with you guys. It's very, very nice and very helpful.
Okay, and I guess that kind of leads, is that your advice to other districts, or what advice would you give to districts looking to make a transition or who might be still working with old processes? What would you tell them?
So I'd like to answer that as well as, we had a really good project plan. I know we've given you guys a big overview of everything, but we really worked on internal and external communication within our sites. We had over 99 sites within the district at the time. And so we worked on standardizing our fees, our training. And again, like Bonnie said, working with you guys to personalize the website so that it looked like a Tulsa Public Schools website. All of those things were things that you need to consider. And, you have to be persistent, because some people just don't want to break those habits and they want to just walk in and do things the old way. So just be very, very persistent with that. And looking back, a couple of the things, we wish that we had scripted responses a little bit earlier and worked on updating our records themselves quicker. But basically, you guys just need a really, really good project management plan to walk through that entire process.
Okay, awesome. Well, great advice, and thank you. My last thing is, do any of you have anything more you'd like to add, an extra comment, anything you feel like we missed that's important to note? No? Okay, well, thank you so much to all of you. You've given great advice and a great overview. I'm going to head back over to Logan to kind of close this off, but thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Rose, Chris, Eddie, and Bonnie. Breakups are never easy, so we appreciate you sharing how districts can learn from Tulsa Public Schools when it comes to making big transitions. Since we do have a couple extra minutes here, if anyone has any questions for Bonnie, Chris, Eddie, or Rose, feel free to put those in the chat. And while you're typing them up, I'll just end with, or I'll just let you guys know that the game code for this session is LEADER, LEADER. Be sure to add it to the event game feature for a chance to win a prize. Also, please take a moment to fill out the survey that's at the bottom of this page, just to let us know how we did and to earn more points for the event game. Our next session will be Forging a New Paper Trail, and that's going to be starting in 15 minutes at 12:30 Eastern Time. Scribbles is in the midst of interesting research about technology preferences for people across generations. We'll be giving you a preview of that research, and you will not want to miss it. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat yet, so it looks like we'll just end it right there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Bye, everyone.